Hi folks, thank you for joining me. I'd like to speak to you about a really special pen I'm going to review in this video. It was sent to me by the good folks at Magna Carta Pen Company in India, and I'd like to thank Iran for allowing me to do the review on this pen. It's a gorgeous pen. I'll be speaking more about it later in the video and showing you a writing demonstration of just what this pen can do. The pen has a stacked resin material that harkens back to the old days of stacked celluloid from things like it's not celluloid, it's stacked resin, but it's a gorgeous material. It also has a 14 karat gold True Flex nib, which I will put through its paces. Those of you that follow my work and have followed me for a while know that I'm basically known for script in the copperplate style. I published an free electronic book on it, and I will show you my way to use a flex nib. I mainly, for that stuff, would mainly use an oblique pen holder, which I'll show you in the video coming up. Not a fountain pen at the time, but the great thing about pens like this, as long as they're good flex, and this is a great flex pen, is that it allows you to add some flair to your writing without having to do a lot of work to get there. Now, if you're somebody who aspires to high-grade level script writing, like in copperplate style, that takes a lot of practice. But just your regular handwriting, every once in a while accented with a little bit of a shade and flair, this is great for that. So thank you for joining me, and let's move into the writing demonstration on this pen. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, let's get to the writing demonstration part. So if you look, I'm using Rhodia R premium paper. I always like to use lined segment paper, and underneath it I put my guide sheets for the slant. Typically with copperplate style script, and this is not a copperplate instruction, it's just about using shaded script. I like to keep my letters in the same slant angle. So even if I'm writing regular cursive style, what I do is more calligraphic penmanship, but still, letters should have the same slant angle. So I'm going to go ahead and write the word love here with this beautiful Mag 600 with the True Flex nib. And so I usually go about 6 spaces with large, these are large letters to write. So let me go ahead and do that now. And you can see how nice that shade pulled. Come back down to here, make a little loop here like this. And then I'll come up and finish off the top of the L this way. Okay, and I'll write LOV now. A little stylized form of it here, like this. All right, and there you have the word love. You can make it. You can actually put a connector here if you want, like this. And if you want to connect up this way, you can as well. But this is a stylized version. It's not the way I would normally write it, but get a little fancy for this demonstration. And then what I'm going to do now is add a feather quill pen to show the versatility of the nib and the way it tracks ink, which is pretty impressive, whether it's monoline or shaded. And there's something, again, that you have to draw this a number of times with the pencil before you attempt to do it with the pen. And doing shades like this, you have to know how hard to press, or you're going to wind up having the problem with the nib. That's for any kind of dip pen, a dip pen or a fountain pen, all right? And so I'm going to arc my hand. I've done this a number of times online. Arc my hand and then go ahead and land the pen like this. A little bit of a shade there. Actually, a lot of a shade there. And then finally come around and do the feather portion like this. Shade as well. Come down here and do the writing portion of the quill like that. Then finally come up and a little loop there. And so there you have the word love, and I'll make a better picture of this available on the video. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I would highly recommend, if those of you want to add a little flair to your writing, definitely the Mag 600. It's a great pen. But remember something about shaded scripts. People don't really realize this, but
a lot depends not just on the pen, but also the paper as well as the ink. Not all inks will come off the nib the same way, whether it's a dip pen or a fountain pen. So this is actually Yamabudo ink I've used here, and so you might have to experiment a while, but it's really well worth it. What I've done is, again, fancy script, but you don't have to do that. In your regular signature, pick a few letters to go ahead and shade. You got to be careful also because, fountain pen, this has a gold nib on it. And, you got to be careful you don't flex the gold too wide. If you do, you can railroad the ink, and that's where the film between the two tines comes apart and it doesn't land any more ink on the page. Or you can spring the nib where the nib will not come back and you have to have a serviceman repair it. And that will happen with any nib, doesn't matter steel or not, or gold. 14 karat gold is typically the best because it's alloyed gold. It's 585, which works out to the percentage of 585. And so you want that alloy in there to strengthen the gold, because as I think most people know, gold is pretty soft and malleable. If you tried to use high percentage gold, the nib would spread out for the shade and never come back. So I highly recommend it. Again, this particular pen is the Mag 600, and this color is Charite, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. This color is exclusively available through Goulet Pens. So if you're interested in the pen, and I'll post a little image of their website on it, you check out the Goulet website. They also make other versions, again, with this beautiful material. Here's a blue Mag 1000, and these are large nib pens, steel pens. This is a steel nib, but very, very large. I love this pen, and I'll probably do a writing demonstration with it at some point, but highly recommend the Mag 600 or the Mag 1000, but the focus of the video is this pen here. And again, thank you to Hiran for letting me use the pen and for a video. I do appreciate it. And good luck. And look up my book online. It's free. It's called Script in the Copperplate Style. She talks about the history of all this writing. And this form of script originated back in England. It had influences from Italy and Germany, but in England from the late 1500s to about 1800. And it was actually called roundhand script somewhere along the line, because somewhere along the line the name Copperplate stuck to it, and it's a shaded form, but the form at that time was done with the feather quill pen. If you want to see the best examples of that, look at George Bickham's Universal Penman. But for plain penmanship, there's many different books available, lots of stuff online to do and to look at. So good luck to you, and happy writing. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.